Hello guys! And yes, we still have a selection of 13 games of 2022. I dug up again and collected the very last new items that came out this month. Not all, of course, but most of the toys are fresh for this month and October. In general, you will have something to play. Also, guys, do not forget that the channel is truly Yandexen. Of course, I will leave a link in the description. And there will also be a link to the top project Next RP. This is a new free online game with an open world and real Russian cities. Moscow, Sochi, Novorossiysk, Gorky and their attractions. Also, there are many jobs and professions from real life, from courier to truck driver. By the way, they recently released a new update. Now you can buy your own truck, customize it for yourself, take orders and travel around the expanses of your home country. But in addition to work, there are still many factions and businesses. You can develop in general in any direction. They also added the latest PvP modes, in which you have to fight other teams. Here you have a wall-to-wall, flag capture and recently added in the game the Kingly Battle mode. In short, action, shooting and adrenaline are provided for you. In addition to this, the developers regularly hold tournaments with a large prize pool. For example, now there is a pair tournament for the Royal Battle, so you can invite friends, gather a team and break into the tops. They also pleased with a large arsenal with a unique weapon pumping system, allowing you to collect and upgrade the gun for yourself, using various body kits. There are sights, silencers, magazines, and beautiful skins. Well, where without a cool car park? You will have more than 140 cars, starting from Russian car promo to the coolest supercars, which you can still train. Well, there are also yachts, motorcycles, helicopters and private planes. Download the game by the link in the description and be sure to do not forget to enter my promo code to get cool bonuses at the start of the game. Marvel's Midnight Suns. Tactical turn-based RPG. The game will be for everyone already familiar popular heroes and anti-heroes. They will unite to fight the new evil. The owner of the same in this game will be the demon sorcerer Lilith, which after awakening recruit army of monsters. As for me, the game is very good and it is a worthy alternative to the same XCOM. Some mechanics are much better, and some are much worse. Personally, I am pleased with the absence of a global timer, as in XCOM, which gives the opportunity to learn more technologies, well, so to speak, to feel the right tactics for yourself. The game has a lot of heroes from the Marvel Universe, such as Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, and even put Captain Marvel. In general, for fans of XCOM, I think the game will come in handy, but for fans of card games, I think it is unlikely. Outposts of Journey. This is a game like Satisfactory Minecraft. The toy has a rather addictive gameplay, where you will need to master the environment, build whatever you want, and automate the base. Here you can do whatever you want, as long as you have enough imagination. For example, you can put a table or a stove somewhere, or spit on everything on the edge and go fishing. In the game, we will not have to talk about some complex puzzles or sweat to pass the boss. This game is purely to relax after a hard day. By the way, on the island where you will survive, you can expand. To do this, you need to raise the level and open new drawings to create something new or improve the old. Solar Ash. This is an adventure action about mysterious, fantastic creatures. We play as Ray, who needs to save his planet at any cost from the death of an ultra monster, devouring everything in its path. This is our only goal in the game. I can't help but note the rather diverse world. During a walk in it, we can meet various giant monsters and many other hostile creatures. And when the time comes to fight them, you will have to apply a special individual approach and use the attack in time. But ordinary battles are added as if for a tick. The enemies are mostly helpless. Victory over them will not bring you much pleasure, and the battle system, consisting of a couple of blows, is not very impressive. Fights with bosses are certainly better, although they are more like an amusement park. You run from one beacon to another, waving your sword, and repeat it all the time of each phase. X-Plane 12. This is a simulator with real physics and a cool simulation of the world. You will be surprised by a lot of things in the game. It has 3D water and 3D forests. There are also cool seasonal textures and changing weather conditions. Compared to X-Plane 11, I can say that there are improvements. For example, in the weather, the cloud pattern has become much further. There are changes in seasons, such as winter, autumn, summer, and spring. And the trees have become mobile from the wind. At night, I didn't like not only the lighting of the cities, but also the fact that everything looks very faded. Everything in X-Plane 12 and in the box is currently available 19 aircraft. Since the simulator is still in the development stage, some of them may periodically have problems. Soulstone Survivors. This is a RPG game with elements, in which you will need to destroy hordes of monsters and bosses, while pumping 14 characters with different skills and weapons. As you run against monsters, you will need to create your own build of 150 skills. Soulstone Survivors, as for me, turned out to be a mixture of games like Vampire Survivors, Torchlight, and Diablo 3. It is quite similar to those games in terms of gameplay. And the final in the game is diverse. You can choose a weapon of any taste, though when you open it. There are not many spells, but you can collect a dozen or even 2 different builds. Not many enemies, crafting and pumping in general, however, the developers promise to add this soon. Nobody deterred around. This is a life simulator, a kind of Sims, only for adults. The game works like this. If you want more, then work more or learn. At the beginning of the game, you will solve everyday problems with your family and other people. You can also buy different junk in order to sell it to someone. Or at the beginning of the game, immediately join someone in business and develop there. But also do not forget that at any time different unexpected situations can affect your life, and you will have to do everything possible to get out of them. Well, in order to get into such situations as rarely as possible, you will need to manage your time and resources wisely. Another interesting project, where we will have to take on the role of a gladiator, trying to survive and win. In terms of gameplay, the game, as for me, will be for fans of ancient Rome. The appearance of the game looks very nice, both in terms of graphics and the interface itself. But it will be difficult to get used to it at first. Also, the game has a rather interesting combat system, but at the end it gets boring, and you do the same. The game has several locations and battle modes, as well as a system of ranks with rewards for increasing the level. Well, there are constant bonuses after winning in every prehistory. The atmosphere during the fights is very cool, because even the viewers made it realistic. They constantly react to everything that happens during the fight. Bendy and the Dark Revival. By the way, a long-awaited sequel for many. By the way, I never played the first part of this toy, and I didn't even hear about it. Well, if you are the same as me and were not familiar with this series, this is survival in the first person in the horror genre. You have to play as Audrey, who is investigating the depths of a creepy animation studio, in which all sorts of hell is happening. You will have to fight infected ink enemies and dodge the constantly hiding ink demon, trying to return to the real world. Well, to get back there, you have to solve puzzles that are not so easy. The graphics in the game are made cartoonishly, just like in the last part. Fear of Lobos. This is an RPG based on the battle of 2 factions. The leaders of these factions are the Noyads and the Vulcans, who have long been in conflict. Players must fight each other and cooperate with their teammates. Also, the game has 7 classes available. This is a scythe, bow, large sword, shield, staff, double blade, and knuckle. You can switch between weapons anywhere and at any time. You also need to craft items, cook food, and the collected ingredients that you will receive if you are engaged in collecting, fishing, and the like. There are also areas in the game for exploring, where there will be dungeons with hefty monsters. Zombie Gunship Survival. You play as one of the last survivors on Earth. You will have to get up in the air, on a plane, and protect your friends from zombies. The goal of the game and the passage is basically the same for us. This is to kill zombies and protect living people. I'm sure the first hours of the game will fly by unnoticed. You just kill zombies, chill, get rewards and achievements. You pump your plane and arsenal there. But the further you go, the more difficult it will be, since you won't even have enough damage to defeat zombies, who also increase their health and more. Also, zombies have a variety of abilities, and not only ordinary zombies, but also huge titans will appear. Silk. Here we play as an unnamed diver who comes to his senses somewhere very deep underwater. He is not very fast, he cannot fight, but he knows how to do something else, namely to move from the knowledge of its surrounding underwater inhabitants. Each of these creatures has certain skills with which you need to solve various puzzles. If we talk about the difficulties of the tasks we face, the answer to all the riddles is intuitive. That is, for lovers of how to break their heads, it will probably be boring. But a small difficulty, in my opinion, is compensated by a variety of interesting combinations in the search for solutions. Well, the strongest part of Silk is the visual. It turned out very stylish and really beautiful. Detailed locations that you want to explore and even screenshots. This is a Ghost. A game about supernatural investigations. You are one of the members of a secret community that hunts or frees terrible creatures from our world. Collect evidence, identify the entity and send it back to the afterlife. This whole thing is played alone and in cooperation with participation up to 3 players. We start our investigation with a set of 14 tools to identify the ghost. And here are 15 entities with unique characteristics and 3 related to them behavior models. So far, this is an early access, and we have only 4 cards to start the adventure. But there are 45 opportunities to catch. But it seems that soon they will add more tutorials and cards. The action takes place in an unusual motel. You have to manage several characters and move almost always quietly, trying to create less noise. You need to run very reasonably here, or when you are sure that there is no one nearby. The usual pace of walking is also heard, so most of the time you will have to sneak. Sometimes you need to get close to the enemy from behind, so that you can attack him and hit him with a sharp object. All hotel residents are dangerous and differ in reaction speed, maneuverability, and mortality. The character is unable to fully attack, but can run away, hide in closets and boxes, defend yourself, use distracting objects and block the door handles with a rope or cable.